Morning you guys, it's Karen, and I thought I would come and do some health updates while I was feeling fairly healthy. So I'll do them in separate videos, but you'll probably see me in the same clothes, etc. I'll talk about headaches in this video. So headache update. You guys know it's just been a hellish last month, really hellish. And it's funny because a lot of my family and friends are saying, oh God, you know, it's so bad lately, it's every day. But the thing is, it has been every day for 3 years, pretty much every day. I had a little period last year, so in 2019 there was a small amount of time where I went 2 or 3 weeks without having any migraines, and then I think there was one other time where I went a week or so. Apart from that, I would get maybe one good day a week, but every other day I would get a migraine, and it would come on any time between 11 a.m. and 2 or 3 p.m. and last until sort of dinner time, and sort of by 8 o'clock in the evening I was feeling a lot better. Sometimes it was a lot worse and I would feel grotty for days, but that was kind of the pattern it had. Then what happened recently was it switched to being there from the minute I was waking up. I just felt awful. And so, you know, I spent a lot of time trying to write down like everything I'm eating, everything I'm doing, all the activities I'm doing, and to try and figure out what are the triggers, what is making this happen. But it's really difficult because when your head is like that, it's hard to focus on anything. You know, I can't do too much research. A lot of people have said, oh, you need to watch these videos or look at this. And I haven't been able to do too much because although the pain is not there 24/7, the like dizziness and not being able to focus on things is there, and that's the most frustrating part because I don't want to just lie down. I'm not tired, but I can't do anything. You know, it's like I don't have the energy to do anything, and I don't have the focus or eyesight, if you like, to do anything. But like I said, I have tried my best. I've been doing a diary for the last couple of months actually, and writing down every day what medications I've taken, what supplements I've taken, what exercise I did, if any, how much filming I've done, everything, you know, to try and see what are the triggers. And I feel like I've learned a lot. As far as treatment goes, I can't remember where I was in the last video I talked about with you guys, but I think I told you about the Botox. Oh, actually, thinking about it, I think the last video I did, I was saying that I thought the HRT was helping because I'd had a good couple of days, hadn't I? But it just went all horribly wrong after that video, funny enough. Like, that afternoon was terrible. But I'd also told you that I was waiting to hear when I'm going to get my Botox. I've spoken to the migraine clinic, and remember, they cancelled my appointment, and they think it's now going to be sometime towards the end of January. So I'm just waiting for that to come through. But I had spoken to you guys about how I had put myself off it, and Kev, by looking at a review site, and that I think it was 50% of people on there had had a bad experience, and some people they'd not been able to hold their head up, and they'd had problems breathing, etc., and that just the risks seemed too large. But what I realised later was, and this sometimes happens, you can react as a patient and forget about your medical knowledge. And I just forgot about my research knowledge. You know, it's like I know how research works, and yet I wasn't applying the right methodology to my assessments of the reviews I was reading, because although I could say 40 to 50% of the reviews that I read on that drugs.com about Botox for migraine had bad experiences, it's very well known that mostly the people that write reviews are ones that have had bad experiences. You know, they say that if you have a good experience, you'll tell one person. If you have a bad experience, you'll tell 6 people. And this applies on the internet as well. So, you know, there's a kind of 6 to 1 that 60% of the people that have written will already have had bad experiences, and not many people with good experiences write about it. So I couldn't really take that for what it was. So I had a look more into actual clinical research for Botox for migraines, and there wasn't the same incidence. There was barely any incidence of major side effects. There was just none. The evidence is not there. And that doesn't rule it out. It doesn't mean to say it won't happen, but it definitely made me feel more comfortable. I then started to think about the different kind of alternative therapies that I've tried. I've tried acupuncture in the past, I've tried chiropractic, I've been to an osteopath, I've tried pretty much everything, but I probably dabbled because I wouldn't have had the money over the years to have done a full course of osteopathic treatment or a full course of acupuncture. So I talked to Kev about revisiting that, and we said, why don't we see if anybody can recommend a chiropractor, because I've been to a chiropractor twice for my neck pain, actually, not for the migraines, but just for the neck pain that I knew causes what I then thought were just headaches. And both times I felt a great relief for a couple of days, and so that would suggest that there probably is some help they can give me. So I put a post up on the sort of community where I live and asked if anybody could recommend somebody, and one was recommended, highly recommended. She had gone with really bad back pain, that had been sorted. Her son had daily headaches, and that had been sorted. So I was like, great, I'm going to go there. But the location of it is really tricky because it's in the middle of Edinburgh city centre. So for me to get there, I would need to get 2 buses, which is tricky when you've got constant migraines. I don't want to, I'm noise sensitive, I'm light sensitive, and you have to then walk. I had to have to walk to find a bus stop, get a bus, walk to get to the other bus stop to get the other bus. And so we tried to figure out if Kev could drop me off. He could drop me off for one. I got a taxi for another, because it was 2 appointments one day after the other. But it was completely thorough, and it was a great experience. They did x-rays, they did posture assessments, they did range of movement assessments, they did balance assessments, they did literally everything. And then I got the results on this second day. And what she was showing me is that my spine is off centre, and that my neck is not in the nice curve it should be. My head is too far forward like this. Made perfect sense. The points in my spine that needed to be adjusted, because that's what chiropractors do, they make adjustments, connected to nerves in my bladder and in my eyes, which again all made sense. So she said that what she felt she could help, and she could offer me these adjustments and these sessions, but that I would need to come 3 times a week for 4 to 6 months, although the 3 times a week would reduce after, I think, 4 weeks. Initially it was 3 times a week for 4 weeks, and she said any less than that and I'm not going to be able to help you. So that was a bit of a shocker, because firstly it's £50 a session, so you're talking about £150 a week, so £600 a month that we would need to find, which I would be prepared to find money if I thought that it was something I could stick to and that was going to help. But I just was really alarmed, and also the time that it would take with having to get 2 buses. It was going to take a couple of hours out of my day 3 times a week. So I said yes at first, and said, well, I'll pay as you go, because there was different options. You could either pay £1,000 and get however many sessions there was in that, or £400, blah, blah, blah. I was just paying it as you go, so I was paying the £50. And she did some adjustments, but what she used is a sort of pen device. Why I do this? Clearly I express myself with my hands, but like you would know what this is. But it was a kind of pen device. It looked like an injection, but it just clicked. So she did that on my neck and on my hip and back, and it just felt like nothing. And so I went away. I had booked my other appointments for this week and spoke to Kev about it and said, firstly, is it something we can even afford? Can we spend the money on this? And what do you think? And we both came to the conclusion that that chiropractic was probably a good option, but not that one, because trying to get 2 buses just wasn't going to work. The taxi was £18, which is just, I'm not going to pay that to, that's another 50 quid, another 40 quid on top of what I'm already paying. And I also knew that having to get 2 buses, which I would hate doing, and you're not supposed to be doing, and we're all locking down anyway from next week, that I wouldn't stick to it. I just wouldn't stick to doing that 3 times a week. It was just going to be way, way too inconvenient. And if I was feeling really ill, that would be a really awful journey. There is a chiropractor that is probably a 5-minute drive from me. And I think I can find somewhere to park. And I think I'm going to go to him. The only problem is I have to go through the whole consultation process again. I'm not going to let them take x-rays again. I'll tell this guy about the x-rays at the other place, and hopefully he can request them. And I suppose I should have gone to him in the first place. I didn't forward think. I didn't think there'd be such a time commitment that you'd need so many sessions, because that's never something that's been offered to me in the past. So I have that as hope. I am going to go to this chiropractor. I don't know what they will tell me. They might tell me 3 times a week as well. But at least if he does manual adjustments, I'll feel more like I get some sort of benefit, because after this little clicky pen, it felt like nothing. I felt I actually felt worse later on in the day, but it was more like a normal day, you know, it didn't seem to do anything. So I didn't have the confidence in that either. So I don't know if you guys are aware of what's going on in Scotland, but the Christmas thing has been reduced to just Christmas Day. So you're only allowed to socialise in people's houses on Christmas Day. And then from Boxing Day for 3 weeks, we are in full lockdown. So we're in tier 4, and it means that everything is shut. All shops are shut. I don't know whether the chiropractor will be shut locally, because the one that I went to in Edinburgh said they were open throughout the whole of lockdown because they were considered an essential service. I actually think they made that decision because I mean, we couldn't even get into the dentist. So, you know, there was lots of health things I couldn't get that you would think would be essential. So I don't know whether he'll be available, but I have actually had a pretty good week this last week and feel pretty good today. And so it's a week today since I've had a really bad day. It's now sort of back to the old pattern of it can come on about 11-12 o'clock, last for a few hours. I can either fight through it or I can sleep, and then it's gone sort of in the evening. Although that doesn't sound like much, I'm still getting them every day, but it's definitely an improvement. I've still got some time back, you know. And actually what I would say is that it's been a bit better than before. I feel like it's not quite as severe during the day. I have been able to easily work through it, you know, do things through it. What I haven't done for the last week is any filming or any editing. I have sat at my computer, but not for very long at all. You know, I've sat down for 10 minutes and then gone and done something else. I've managed to get lots of things done, you know, lots of Christmas wrapping and sorting out of cupboards and cleaning and shopping. And I've done quite a lot of things in the last week. It's been really nice. I just decided that I needed to take the week off from YouTube, not do anything, and see what happened. And so that's one possible reason why I've not been so bad over the last week, is that I haven't been sat here editing or sat here filming. Today is going to be the teller, you know. After today we'll see how the rest of the week goes. But I do also have 2 other possible options. One of them I'm not sure about, but the other thing I've been doing is taking a higher strength of magnesium. I was already taking a magnesium supplement, but it's a magnesium oxide, which is not that bioavailable, so I'm thinking of taking some citrate as well, but it's very expensive. But I upped my dose to 400 where I was only on 250 milligrams. And so it does seem to have been since then that things have also improved, so that could be helping. They're definitely a muscle relaxant. My migraines, I have learned, are triggered by my neck pain, and that comes on from sitting at the computer, filming, driving, exercising, even on my exercise bike. So I've learned what my triggers are, and I've been taking this magnesium, and the magnesium may well be contributing to me feeling better, but I don't think it's 100% the source of, or, you know, a solution, because like I said, I think a lot of it is mechanical. I've just realised I'd already told you about the sumatriptan and me trying to get a prescription for it. I don't know whether I had told you about me actually getting it and trying it, but it wasn't working. Remember, I had the Cephaly device as well, and the Cephaly device I tried, but it was making things worse. The more I used it, the worse it got, and so I stopped, and it didn't get any worse, and so I just decided that was just not working for me. There was a slight thought for me at the time of, again, is this really migraine? Because the Cephaly is for migraines and works for most people. Sumatriptan is for migraines and works for most people, and neither of them worked for me, and I was just like, is it migraines? But I bought a couple of really good books on migraines and I've been reading them, and one of them was saying specifically that a lack of response to sumatriptan does not exclude migraines. That doesn't mean that it's not a migraine. And so that was really interesting. And I did, when I researched it myself, I did find that to be the case, you know, so I think it probably still is migraines. The other thing that I think could be working for me is HRT, because as you know, I changed to the patches, and I've now been on the patches just over a month and a week. I think it's been 5 weeks. And it's been this last week that I've been feeling better. And so, well, it's not even 5 weeks, it's 4.5 weeks. And so that would kind of make sense that it could take about 3 weeks for the pills that were in my system that were spiking my hormones to be out of my system completely, and for the patches to kick in balancing things out. It could even take longer than that. It could take up to 3 months. But I did already have some of the hormone, and so it in theory should be a bit quicker. But it could be that. It could be that the spiking hormones that were making things worse have now balanced out a little bit. I think if I had to say, I would say that the HRT and magnesium are helping with the kind of silent migraine symptoms, and that the mechanical changes that I've made, which are actually only just not that I haven't been filming for the past week, and then some smaller changes with how I deal with Watson. Watson, my dog, there's a lot of health maintenance that he requires. He needs to be washed, he needs to be brushed, he needs to have his ears cleaned, he needs to have his paw pads clipped. What else? There's lots of things like that involve me sitting on the floor, bending over him. So what I've been doing now is putting him onto the sofa, and I've been sitting on a kind of buffet in front of him so that I'm more level with him and I'm not bending my neck over him, and just generally using my posture device when I'm sitting at the computer for a long time and things like that. So I think the mechanical things where I've not been filming, not been editing, being more careful with my neck, using a cushion if I'm driving, plus the hormone and the hormone patches, plus the magnesium, I think that all contributed. So the trick now will be to see if this continues after filming this morning. If I'm okay for the next couple of days, I'm then going to do a session on my bike and see if that, if I can still continue on with the goodness with that. But I'm cautiously optimistic, because I have had periods of 2 or 3 weeks before of relief, and then it's suddenly come back. And so I need to really figure out what makes it come back, And also I'm not by any means free of them. They're still there in the afternoon, and there's still these feelings that I need to tweak my treatment plan, if you like. I do also take lots of other supplements, by the way. I take L-theanine, I have done that for a while. I've taken vitamin B6, I've taken that for a while. There's a few other things I take. So I was saying about the chiropractor, that's another option for me, and I think I will look into that depending on how my head goes. I'm just going to see if this good period lasts, because what I was saying to my husband is that when you are in so much pain, you try everything. You throw everything at it, and then you don't know what's worked when it does work. And so I don't want to go to a chiropractor just now, because I'd firstly like to see, is this HRT helping or making things worse? So I'd like to wait, maybe another 3 weeks, maybe to get to 2 months on the patches, and see how they're affecting things, and continue using my diary, and see how that, look back and go, how has this HRT changed things? Continue taking the magnesium, and then adding little bits in, like my bike and filming, etc., and seeing, how they affect things. So that's where I'm currently at with my head. Wish me luck. Hopefully it will continue this week, and hopefully then I can make some more videos. And there's so many videos I have on my list. I have a list for my beauty channel, a list for this channel, a list for Watson's channel, a list for my Patreon channel. Literally have so many videos that I'd love to do. But I'd also like to do some more clearing out over Christmas. So there's plenty to keep me occupied, even though we'll be mostly in lockdown. Thank you for listening. I hope that I know at least 2 people that I can think off the top of my head that really suffer with migraines like myself. So I hope things are looking well for you. I know that you have some plans going on to deal with them. I'll let you know when I get an appointment for the Botox, of course, and I will see where I'm at that point. It's kind of been a godsend that the appointment was changed. It's almost like it was meant to be. It's given me the opportunity to try some other things, potentially non-invasive. So yeah, that's everything. Thank you so much for listening, and I shall speak to you again soon in my urology video.